everyone, and welcome to episode 80 of Podcast The Five Ring, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and took. Each episode of Podcast The Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. To catch updates about the podcast or other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice, listed in the description below, which I will not be reading off. I am now your new tyrannical lord and leader, the Dark Fortune Duelist meta. But I have, I'm accompanied by, actually, I should say not have, that would imply that he's illegally here and I'm holding him hostage, the wildcard Mao.
Send help.
He's joking. And our hostage, who once was an evil ruler, but is now my permanent guest at this estate.
Help, I'm being oppressed.
Obsidian.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
How are you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the work week has been better, and I have a lot to look forward to.
Are you trying to tell me you don't like working 16-hour days?
No, I don't. Not like 4 days in a row. It's pretty.
But it builds character, Obs.
I mean, when I see my paycheck tomorrow, it'll be more worth it. But you know,
yeah, the number will be great.
All the overtime will look nice, but those fond memories of staring distantly out my office window, wishing that a meteor would come crashing down. I'll always hold them close to my heart. Come, Thanos, bring your snap. Save me from this reality. Bring me off this mortal coil.
You know what your luck would be, though? He's going to snap, and you see other people dissipating, but you're still stuck there.
There was time now. Yeah, Thanos is like, get in the back and start unloading those boxes.
See,
damn it, Thanos.
Just get snapped away, but you're stuck left behind.
No, I believed in you, Thanos. You let me down.
What would be the luck? That's about it.
But no, I'm excited for Thanos tonight. I'm going to see.
Oh yeah, you're going.
I'm going to see Endgame, which we'll be talking about, and then
I should go see it too.
Then yeah, you should. And then this weekend's Game of Thrones, which is not the penultimate, but it's kind of like the big climactic battle episode, which I'm excited about. So I got a lot to look forward to. It's been a long week otherwise, just because I've been excited about stuff.
Now that the series is essentially going to be over, I am probably just going to grab Lily.
Just binge it.
I'm so happy for it to be over.
I know. We know, Mao. You're the guy in all the memes. It's like, herder, I'm the one person who doesn't watch it. We know. But speaking of memes, did you see that Nickelodeon was putting out toys of the SpongeBob memes?
Yes.
Which is amazing.
You get sexy Squidward toys.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The Patrick with his mouth open, the herder SpongeBob bent over like a chicken.
I gotta see this now.
They're pretty funny.
I'm doing an actual toy
live Googling.
I'm live Googling. Live.
This is how we roll here. We live Google every time.
Oh my god!
Sometimes I live Google as I reveal my topic because I forget details.
Freaking real!
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Holy crap! I can't believe this is happening.
Yes, we are fellow children.
Yeah, we're at stevebuscemi.jpg.
Right.
That cleft chin is amazing.
Yeah, one of my friends got all he wanted for Christmas was a picture of the handsome Squidward, like of the painting, and his mom got it for him, and that was all he got for Christmas. And he was super excited for some reason.
Actually, speaking of memes, I'm gonna segue into another meme thing. They just dropped Sonic, the channel just for Sega dropped out the second part of the little animated video that they've been doing for the Sonic racing game, and it has the Pikachu meme in it. It's great.
Oh no! I do love the random clips of the Sonic Boom show. I think are great. Yeah, how self-aware they are.
Sonic Boom, I think we've talked about this before, but Sonic Boom is immensely self-aware. It's a very enjoyable show for adults or for just fans who've been with the series and grown up and whatnot. It's really good. I actually enjoy that series a lot.
We won't speak about the movie. That hasn't come out yet. Oh, Detective Pikachu early stuff. Everybody's been saying it's good, so I might go see that too. Yeah.
I'm gonna go see it just for the sake of it. I just want to see if
you just want to see Mewtwo. That's all.
That's really what I'm there for. You got me.
Hey, I know you.
I'm sure he's gonna have a very like 2-bit part. He's just gonna show up, say nothing of value whatsoever, shoot some psychic beams, and be beaten in a fight. I'm sure
He'll get thunderbolted or something.
It's gonna be something like the power of friendship defeats him or something. Be like the one time,
Just like my shonens.
Oh,
and Code Geass is going to be in theaters next weekend, I believe. Next weekend or the week after next weekend.
It feels really weird that that's coming back after having been so...
After like 13 years or something?
Yeah, essentially. It just feels really weird that that's even... the movie is just like a redone version of like the series, right?
Yeah, the movies are... And they're actually really good. They add some new stuff. I mean, like all movie summary versions do. Like, they're the bridged versions, and this is in that universe. So
they've got one story, and they're going to tell it every way they can.
Like Shirley's still alive. A lot of the characters some of the characters who died don't.
There's the version of it in like the Sengoku era or whatever. Then there's the version where they just
Nunnally's Nightmare,
but take out all of the mechs.
Wait. There's a version in the Sengoku era?
Yeah, there's like 4 different manga. There's a spin-off anime OVA or something.
Well, there's one that's in the past that is actually like I think it's supposed to be like a canon prequel, but then there's one that's sort of like a retelling in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
it's weird. They just kept they came out with so many manga where they're just like, we're gonna tell it differently.
It's a popular series, so
yeah, but the story was great for what it was, but you don't need to retell it 5 times.
I don't know why they did.
I don't know. I guess
the same story without the mechs.
The Japanese people bought it. What do you want?
I mean, look, I'm not saying they have some great taste at times, but they can be wrong too.
I mean, there's really just
that's why they're doing it.
Gotta catch them all.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's really what it is.
Culture of Japan.
Yeah, for some reason, I really like collecting.
They love gotcha stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Meta, do you want to segue Mao into the first topic?
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me just start a story and we'll segue into it. So the other day, my nephew, who doesn't exist at all, was learning magic and whatnot, and that's Mao's topic. Go.
Smooth as butter.
He opened up his fresh Sheevan dragon and started slinging spells. He loves him. Is it 4 or 5? I can't remember the stats on it.
He slapped down this black deck in front of me, and I was like, "What? I can't believe you would do this to me!" And I slapped my white deck down in front of him, and I was like, "This is it.
I'm gaining life, buddy. What do you got?" I got some vigilance. I got some lifelink.
That's when he revealed he had vampires. You need 2 head lifelink.
Oh no.
Well, my topic is in fact Magic the Gathering, like it was going to be for the last 3 weeks.
This is such a surprise.
Well, now we have all the cards, Mal. So
it's true. So they've got the newest set, War of the Spark, coming out. It's the pre-release will be this weekend as of recording,
which I'll be at tomorrow night as well.
It's actually, you can already play it on Magic Arena.
Really?
Oh, is it out already? I know it was coming out this month, but I didn't know it was out so soon.
Might be today it came out.
Yeah.
I didn't know Magic Arena was doing like the sets as well. I thought Magic Arena was kind of like Magic Light.
No,
it's esports Magic basically.
It's only the newer sets, like everything.
Yeah, it's not gonna have Legacy and Modern and stuff.
Yeah, at least not for a long time.
Yeah,
if they decide to get rid of Magic Online.
Oh, okay. Wow, I had no idea.
Yep.
Yeah, War of Spark is it's kind of the. We're in the ending of like so many big like things because we got the Marvel thing. This
of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, exactly.
This chapter.
As an outside viewer who like almost never follows the stuff or when you guys are talking about it, even that's what I was getting. Is like it just looks like this is kind of like Endgame.
Yeah. It's the final showdown with Nicol Bolas.
Yeah.
Until the next time.
Until he's back. Nicol Bolas will be back in Avengers 3.
Gosh damn it.
Battles with Nicol Bolas.
This sounds like Fu Lang again. We're just going to have to fight freaking Lopan.
Yeah, they kicked it off. There was a CG trailer set to a
it was good.
Cover.
Yep. It was good.
It was just they were really going all out.
Which I believe that scene is depicted on many of these cards.
Yeah.
Basically.
So from the mechanical side, the set has only 3-ish mechanics basically. It's got
new mechanics, right?
yeah, new like
one new mechanic, kind of.
one new mechanic, which so the main thing about the set is planeswalkers is like the marquee mechanic. Instead of being like maybe you get 5 in or usually it's 3-ish in these kinds of sets, you get like 5 in a core set.
Mm-hmm.
There's 36 in this set.
Slow down, they're not all
Yeah.
as powerful as normal.
Wow.
There's one in every pack, and to do that, they have some at uncommon, rare, and mythic, instead of they've always been mythic before. Basically, each drop down in rarity, you lose an ability.
Wow.
But they also all have a static ability this time. So, like, yeah. The uncommon Tybalt, the Rakish Instigator, is 2 in a red, and your opponent, for 5 loyalty, your opponents can't gain life, and then -2, create a 1/1 red devil creature token. When this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target.
Yep, so they all have at least a loyalty ability. Yep. And a static ability, basically like an enchantment or something along those lines.
An enchantment you can attack.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will usually you can use them like maybe 2 times or whatever. Like a lot of them, I think, do have like a -2 ability with an odd number of loyalty, so that they're left with 1 loyalty, so they hang around. Or you can use the other mechanic, which is a returning one, proliferate.
None of us are going to be able to pronounce that correctly.
Proliferate. Which is when you get to proliferate, you can choose any number of permanents and or players, then give each another counter of each kind they already have, which is a slight change. They changed the rules a little bit, but that's not huge. Basically, you'll be able to keep adding counters to the stuff you want to have counters, like your planeswalkers. Or the other mechanic, the only new one, amass, which is it will be amass and then a number. So amass 3 means you get put 3 +1/+1 counters on an army you control. But if you don't control an army, you first create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first. So you will always only have 1 army, and it will just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
And they have tokens, multiple tokens that depict more and more zombie Eternals.
They've got 3 tokens. There's one that's just 1 zombie by itself, and then that same zombie, but with a few more people behind him. And then again, you'll see that zombie, but now there's an entire army behind him.
Yep. One of the tricks I saw LSV and Marshall talking about on limited resources was like the only time you kind of want to proliferate on someone else's creature is when you have the creatures that are like can't be blocked by a creature with power X or greater. You might actually want to proliferate like their 3/3 and kill like a planeswalker or something.
That's cute.
Yeah, so that's like kind of in limited the only time you really want to do it. In like modern, if they have like poison counters and stuff.
Yeah, you would proliferate the counter on them. Yeah.
Wow.
Or -1, -1s.
Especially in limited, you'll be just doing yourself. Or all your stuff. You won't proliferate any of your opponent's stuff. But, yeah. So they were light on the mechanics, but that's just because planeswalkers are so big. Like, they've never done anything close to this before.
Mm-hmm.
And planeswalkers sort of have a way of warping the board, at least mentally, because they have always been like powerhouses. So now it's an interesting like.
Yeah, we were talking about this.
Ignore this.
Exactly, we were talking about this before before we started recording. I kind of want to go Planeswalker heavy at the pre-release tonight or tomorrow night because I want to see how people react. Because normally, Planeswalkers you just like attack them if they're on the board because they're just so board state warping that you have to. Or if you just let them run rampant, you'll lose the game unless your opponent's on like a few life left or you can reasonably kill them before they switch the tides of battle. So I'm curious when most people can reasonably get like 2 planeswalkers on the board in the game. Will it slow down the game even further? That in turn makes like games that or cards that in board stalls and stuff more impactful, like flyers or creatures with evasion, or like the white card that lets you swing without worrying about crack backing because it gives all your guys lifelink. It taps all their guys and then gives all your guys lifelink. It's sorcery speed.
Right.
So that kind of like that'll be important for getting rid of planeswalkers. It's stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the other big thing with the set is they wanted this to be like they wanted the story to just like ooze from it. Like it's
Which it does.
It's an event-based set. Like which they have like the cards show off way more of the story than any other set in modern history. Like it usually they do like 5 story moments, which are like the big story points in a set.
Mm-hmm.
And this one it's just like you can
A lot.
they actually were, as they did the spoiler different, like instead of just doing the rares and mythics for like 2 weeks, they did 3 weeks of spoilers, and then they did all the cards by the end of the spoilers instead of just dumping the rest that they hadn't spoiled on the last day. By the last day, every card had been spoiled already. And they actually, there's on their website there's like an area where you can look at the scenes of the story day by day, and that's one way to just like see the story unfold.
That's pretty sweet.
They're not doing like fictions or anything. They're putting out a book, right? Or are they going to do fictions?
So the one part where they really kind of messed up, I think, is they were going to have 22 prequel stories, which got delayed till June. So that's a ways off, when the set won't really be so relevant anymore. And there is a book which came out yesterday or the day before, instead of their weekly fictions. There will be, I think, the next 6 weeks there will be some fictions that tie in, but the bulk of the story is told through the novel, which is the first novel since...
It's been a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, in the last decade, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just want to know who the Wanderer is, Mal. That's it.
I think I saw an interview.
It better be Elpsith.
Nah, I think the Wanderer will play into the next chapter more.
I gotcha.
They introduced her in this set, but I think she's going to be a bigger player going after this.
I did see that, by the way. I was looking at the cards preview, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this Wanderer? And why are they so cool looking?"
Yeah, the Wanderer. They also did like something unique, which is instead of because usually it's for planeswalkers, it's legendary planeswalker dash their name. So the Wanderer literally just says legendary planeswalker, no name, because no one knows who they are.
I actually like them. They're really cool looking, and I can definitely see a bit of an Asian vibe to their design. I'm not gonna lie, I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah. But man, we gotta talk about that real sauce. Them Japanese planeswalkers.
Oh god.
They got me wanting to buy a box of Japanese boosters that I can't read just to get planeswalkers.
Yeah, as another unfolding part of the marketing for this set, because it's been insane. They did a promotion with Japan that any pack of Japanese War of the Spark will have any planeswalker that's in it will be 50% chance of either the normal art or art done by Japanese artists, including
Yoshitaka Amano.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy artist.
Wow.
Who did
Liliana.
And it looks great. I love that.
I love it.
Can you link that one again? Just for the sake of it. I would love to see that, because man, Yoshitaka Amano.
Mm-hmm. Which they also have sleeves and little posters that are done through some, I don't remember exactly who it is, but like it's one of those spend so much, get points, cash in points to get the sleeves or whatever. I think you have to spend 20,000 yen to get the sleeves.
That's really cool looking.
Yeah, she looks great. I want that.
And the sleeves
I just want it on a print.
The sleeves have her. Oh.
Yeah, they have
They do have the little poster. You might be able to get it on eBay or something.
That I might do that. I love his art style. Very unique.
Yeah, I love Amano.
Yeah.
They got a lot of
about
they got a lot of Japanese artists. I like Nissa too. A lot of them are very manga-esque. My favorite
Yeah.
my favorite one might be John Yu and Mowu.
Oh, it's so cute.
They look so adorable, and it's the one of the Fire Emblem artists is the artist on it.
Yeah,
Really would like that,
they pulled in like planeswalkers from all over their stories and introduced quite a few new ones. Like what's his name? What was it? Zhang Yanggu.
Zhang Yanggu.
He was one of the Chinese planeswalkers because they released 2 little planeswalker decks in China, and he was one of the characters they created for that. And then they like brought in Davriel from the book that Brandon Sanderson or the novella that he wrote, and then they created new ones like the Wanderer and Teo the Shield Mage, who is a big character in the book that came out, but he's completely
He's
new.
like a newbie planeswalker, basically.
Yeah,
Then he's like Spark Ignite. He ended up on Ravnica.
Yes, his Spark ignited, and the first place he jumped to was Ravnica while all this crap is going down.
What is the spark exactly? I don't know what
The
that
spark is what it's I think it's like 1 in a million people will have the spark, and in each of them it might not ever ignite. Basically, it will ignite in like either moments of near death experiences, and your spark will ignite and you'll planeswalk away. It can also happen due to emotional trauma. A Johnny, the cat person planeswalker, his spark ignited when he saw Nicol Bolas kill his brother, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So he just got so mad, his spark ignited, and he planeswalked.
I love Tomio as well.
I don't think it was.
I would love to see them do like a Kamigawa, some like old cards reprinted in anime style. But that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, yes, we're all weebs. We'll all like the Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, it's us.
So the story is basically Nicol Bolas, who has been plotting for. They actually started the idea back in Origin, which is I think 2015.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So it's been like 4 years in the making.
It was before Zendikar, the second or third Zendikar block.
I mean, yeah, it's what they used to set up the Gatewatch, and the whole and it was always meant to like here was the climax was this Nicol Bolas on Ravnica, because Aaron Forsyth, the leader of R&D for Magic, tweeted out like the story arc they intended from way back when. So it was always leading here. He had been gathering parts and people from other planes. So he got a planar portal from Kaladesh that he used to transport an undead army from the Egyptian plane of Amonkhet. Yeah,
which he got the Lazatet from and stuff, I believe.
Yeah, they are zombies or undead coated in a blue metal, basically. That's the army. What the army tokens will depict is all of them. The eternal.
Yeah, it's basic. Yeah, it's Nicol Bolas's zombie army.
And then from Ixalan, he has the Immortal Sun, which was used to trap the planeswalkers, and he's using the Elder spell to harvest their sparks, which is fatal to have your spark harvested.
If he gets all their sparks, he can become a god again. Basically,
he does. Like you see it unfold throughout the cards that the Elder spell goes off, and he becomes, because his planeswalker card is it's Nicol Bolas, Dragon God.
Yeah,
and so his brother Ugin got together with some people, and they end up are able to trap him. They're able to somehow not non-fatally take his spark and trap him on what was called the meditation realm, which is how he survived in the past when people had thought they'd killed him. But this time they trapped him there without a spark and chained him up. So I guess now he's like...
Does Ugin become the door? Persona 3.
Jeez.
But it's now they have break in case of emergencies for Bolas in the future, I guess. But
But Mal, what the real pressing question: who wins, Nahiri or Soren? These are the things that need to be answered.
Well, they had planeswalkers from all over with their own story going on, and yes, Nahiri and Soren have been fighting each other for some time now, and they
just hate each other
on this plane, saw each other, and were like, who cares?
Screw this! We're fighting each other.
Fight each other. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
So I got a question here because I'm looking at a lot of the art and I'm trying to understand a little bit more of the War of the Spark.
Yeah.
But it looks like people are both fighting with each other and against each other. Like I could see some of the undead pictures for like the for I guess the Egyptian based one.
Yeah,
like
the Eternals, the undead.
Yeah, they're like attacking normal people, but as far as I understand, the necromancer who's running them, what's her name? Liliana. She's also fighting against Boleus. I don't know.
So at the end, it's even shown in the trailers that eventually she ends up turning on Boleus because she has control of them. So she sends them against Boleus, who controls the contract for her life.
Liliana's backstory is that she made like a pact with, was it 3 demons?
4 demons.
4 demons to get like super powerful and become a super powerful necromancer.
Or basically eternal youth type stuff.
Yeah, like her brother died and it traumatized her. And the whole Dominaria arc, she went back and like her brother was a zombie and was basically like the leader of the last demon she needed to kill.
To kill the last demon, yeah. And when
so she kills him, then Bola shows up and is like, well, now that all the people he made her contract with, it defaults to the person who originally like wrote it or something, which was me, so now I own your soul.
Which was just another way, because he needed someone to control his undead army. But eventually she turns on him and he goes to kill her, and actually Gideon ends up sacrificing himself to save Liliana.
Yeah, because turning against them would kill her because he controls her soul, so Gideon can apparently redirect that onto him, so basically, he sacrifices himself.
Which is Gideon. A nice ending to his story, because originally he has invulnerability magic, which he creates a shield around himself, and he's from the Greek-inspired mythology plane of Theros, and him and his group of friends were fighting against something one day, and they came across the god of death, and he threw a spear at him, and the god just flicks it back, which he throws up his invulnerability magic, and when the smoke clears, all of his friends are dead.
Oof.
So he was the bookend his storyline. It was he was able to sacrifice himself to save his friends. Very fitting.
Yeah, and they gave him a little they're giving him a signature spellbook thing to send him off on, which is also really cute.
Yeah,
I love Rest in Peace.
Original art for all of these cards that tie back to his story, sort of stuff.
That's really cool. That's really well done.
Mm-hmm. They've been going all out for the whole or all of the War of the Spark stuff. They just treated this set like nothing else before it.
I will keep watch. And it's his Oath of Gideon stance too.
Mm-hmm.
And Rest in Peace. I love that card art.
That's really cool.
And there's the Kathion's Return card or whatever too.
Yeah.
In this set.
It seems like one thing that's a little unclear is if it was just in his mind, or if he actually somehow planeswalked back to Theros in the last moment, and because it looks like he ends up in some sort of Elysium equivalent, which is the realm of departed heroes in Greek mythology.
Okay.
So, yeah. Which they could end up using to bring him back somehow, probably, if they really wanted to, but I don't think they would, just because that would cheapen his story. But
probably.
Yeah. Yep. It looks really good. The draft, it looks really fun. Red Black gets a sacrifice sub theme, so I'm ecstatic.
No, Mal, you want to draft 6 cats.
No.
And go off.
You're trying to tell me that my all cat deck may not be viable?
I like how that cat deck kind of works like the Cheeseky cat deck from L5R, where it's just you start popping off and searching for all your cats if your combo works out right. It's just kind of cute.
Those gimmick decks are fun. They're just flat out fun. When you make those kind of decks,
is definitely one of the favorite subtypes. You can actually play cat tribal in EDH.
Yeah, people love cats.
Cats are great.
As the top.
Yeah, you can't play dog tribal.
There you go. See, cats are great. They beat dogs. At least in this game, anyway.
Magic doesn't even have a dog subtype. It has hound.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're no good hounds.
Wow. I feel like Magic might be biased against good boys.
Rip Fire Hound. It's the real tribal, Hellion tribal.
Yeah. So there's that set looks awesome. The story seems really cool. How they did everything. There's a lot of returning characters, even just from Ravnica's past. Like Feather finally gets a card.
Yeah, and Ravnica was like a cool plane to do it on because people really love Ravnica.
Market research shows it's their most popular plane. So
all the factions are cool. They're very unique and flavorful, and the mechanics always seem to reflect them really nicely, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was interesting because we finally got a Ravnica set where the guilds were not it wasn't about the guilds. It was about war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Mecha, I'll introduce you.
Hi.
For your next topic.
Okay. No segue. Got it. All right.
I can't think of a creative one. Segue yourself.
All right. So, I'm not going to do a segue. We're just going to get right into this. Mortal Kombat 11 dropped out pretty recently. In fact, the 22nd. So that's about 3 days from this recording. And to say the least about it, the core gameplay has changed a lot, but it is good. That's the general consensus from most people playing the game.
I've seen people say it is the best gameplay ever.
Well, they changed a lot of it. Some people do miss the older style of kind of like that rush beat 'em down thing, but this game does put a lot more emphasis on. I'm gonna get into technical shit here, but in the neutral, where you're kind of like understanding like where your spacing is, your attacks, the frame rate, the frames of both their startup, their ending, and like on block, not on block if you're positive or negative, blah 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 blah. It's lots more emphasis on that. The combos are still there. So they're not gone. So if you love your long, awesome Mortal Kombat combos, they're still there. But there's a lot more emphasis on neutral. But this is done because a lot of pro players do like that kind of stuff a little bit more. It's not as entertaining unless you kind of know what's going on. I will say, like, trying to watch it is not as fun sometimes. And it does suffer a little bit.
Where's Reptile?
He's not there. It does unfortunately suffer a little bit of what Injustice unfortunately has, which seems to be that like there is a lot of screen space and projectiles seem to be a very, very strong viable way to win fights, as opposed to kind of outplaying your opponent. You can really whittle somebody's health bar down from just firing projectiles.
Zone them out.
Yeah, zoning is really, really strong. So I don't know if that's gonna be changed or not. It's not really conducive to like what most people know Mortal Kombat to be, but that's the kind of thing. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a more important thing and kind of lead into a bigger question on that is that it was recently just mathed out by a user on the Reddits, as the kids are calling it these days, where it turns out you need about $6,440 something to unlock all content if you paid for it.
Oh God.
Yeah. So so the only other problem with this is that the bigger issue, the biggest issue, and to give credit where credit's due, it sounds like it's a lot of money, but that's specifically just for costumes because most characters have like 60 costumes each, and there are 23 characters, and you can unlock some of them through both the chests in game and the crypt, which I'm not going to even bother explaining. Or by just spending getting time crystals, which you can accrue through just playing the game and buying them that way. But if you were to do the math on it, it's about $6,440. Nothing else can be bought. It's all cosmetics. Nothing else. The problem is that people have done the time, have kind of looked at it and whatnot, and currently it is taking a very long time to unlock a lot of the stuff. The crypt utilizes about 4 different currencies. From coin to souls to hearts to I think one other I don't remember. But they're all their different currencies. They're all gained in different ways, but generally you do it through what's called the towers, um, which will give you different challenges of different varying levels and areas, and you can get them to do currency. Problem is that the towers can be very frustrating. Currently, you need a lot of collectibles to do it. And you need sometimes one-use collectibles and consumables just to get through the harder towers, which give the better rewards, which the rewards are not that great for. Um, the other issue being is that a lot of the fights sometimes are very, 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 very difficult. And the bosses sometimes, the boss, quote unquote, sometimes have absurd amount of health and whatnot. It makes the fights very challenging, very unfun, and an immense grind, which a lot of people have noted just from the start that it's going to take you weeks and weeks and weeks to unlock everything this way. Now, to be fair, they did drop out like a day 1, day 2 patch, small patch where they could do something on the background because the way they built up the game brilliantly, and this is how more games should do it, is that they've implemented essentially a variable setup that they can change on the background, and essentially all it does is it just changes everything instantly. People get maybe disconnected once they pull out of whatever they're doing. Once they're like done with it, it won't kick them out, but once they're done and they're completed, it'll kind of like say signing you out, then signs you back in, and then the update takes place. So they were able to at least change the effects of certain battle arena categories. They were able to reduce health and whatnot, but they have also stated that they're aware of like the amount of time that's going to take stuff. They don't want it to be this way. So good on NRS, NetherRealm Studios, for at least picking up on this, hearing what the fans are saying, which they've been doing through the whole process of building the game and whatnot to do it. But the biggest thing that came from it specifically was it was no longer about, spending my money and being microtransaction to death, so to speak. Although you could argue that paying $6,440 to unlock all the skins is definitely that kind of thing. But more that you were spending your time. People are still not sure how much these changes are going to affect things because they said they're going to affect currencies and everybody's going to get a giant chunk of currency, but a lot of the items in the game, there's about 600 plus chests throughout the whole crypt, ranging anywhere from 2,000 something to 250 coins to unlock. That's not counting, mind you, every other item. Ones that might use hearts, ones that might use there's other items in there that will utilize the souls and the other type of currency. So that's just the chests, not the other ones that are maybe affected elsewhere. So there's a lot to go through, and we're not really sure how it's going to be, but currently, as we're seeing it, even with the potential update, we're still guesstimating that it's probably going to be a few weeks to just unlock everything, or at least to get close to unlocking. And this is for people who are pretty dedicated. There are some ways to abuse the time crystals, but the time crystals really aren't linked to anything but the costumes that come in. They change out like a roster, like about 5 of them or so. They change them out every number of hours. So, but that's kind of not linked
like
to
every
everything else.
19 hours.
Yeah. So, you kind of got 2 different things going on all over the place. And it's kind of bringing the question of at what point is it okay to like is it okay to like put in more microtransactions? Is paying with time an acceptable replacement for microtransactions to make the longevity of the game work? Which I think most people would probably say no. But more importantly, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, what do you feel is an okay amount of time to play a game to unlock everything? I mean, there's obviously gonna be different from like hardcore players and casual players, but certainly there's got to be some acceptable range.
Let me be an oxymoron here, but I mean, it's similar but different to the way BFA did things in WoW, especially in the 8.1 patch, I believe, or
yes,
when it was like, well, you're kind of like capped at the amount of artifact points you can grind out per week, essentially, and like the rolls on chests you can get and stuff to get your gear. You can't just keep doing like grinding the dungeons over and over again because you get the keys. You just have to keep going up. And then when they eventually did the vendor stuff, you were capped at like basically how much. I can't remember the currency they used that you could buy basically re-rolls and rolls for new gear and stuff. So I I guess this is kind of what we're going towards. They're like, oh, you don't like microtransactions? Let's just make it exceedingly grindy and more gotcha-esque, which I don't think Mortal Kombat's necessarily doing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
it's not. Yeah, it's not a gotcha. But the point being made is the time is akin to that in that sense. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's the grind essentially.
Yeah. And I know not a lot of people are big fans of that at all. Especially if you're a more casual player, you're generally going to be looking for specific things, and that's kind of where you stop.
Yeah, because we don't have any more. Back in the day, you always had the cheat code that would unlock everything. Yeah. So if you wanted to experience everything, you could, I guess, buy the magazine at your local grocery store and find that code, or hope one of your friends did and wrote it down for you in the pre-internet days.
There was also the Game Shark as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Which actually changed the hex code in the game to get you what you wanted, as long as someone understood what the hex code was supposed to be. So,
yeah. So my understanding is that the kind of grinding is very repetitive that you need to do. You can't. It's not like you can just play the game however you want. You have to play it in one specific repetitive way.
Oh God, that makes it even worse.
Right. Which is just, and it's a Warner Brothers game, which a lot of the issues with trying to kind of pad the playtime through not great ways seems to be coming from them a lot. Like I know, was it Shadows of Mordor? Had
that was a lot of
time
that
you got to
stuff.
the end game. Like you had to really. You either had to grind like crazy or just buy the level ups.
Yeah, I mean that is generally a thought that most people, I would say, well, not most people, I would say, but that is generally a thought that's kind of rippling through. Is that it likely is coming from Warner Brothers side of stuff, because NRS themselves are big nerds. I mean, you literally follow the trail of what they've been doing since they've been doing like the combat casts and whatnot and showing off all the information. They have been quite keen on listening to their players. So it doesn't really feel like this is something like, the developers or even Ed Boon, who's kind of running this whole thing and has been, part of the Mortal Kombat just game series for a very long time. It just doesn't seem like them, but it is an unfortunate kind of thing that has happened with the game all the same.
Yeah. Theoretically, I have no issue with like someone wanting to spend money to get all the everything unlocked, but I don't trust developers to implement that in a way that doesn't, isn't predatory or whatever. Like because as people grow up, like we're starting to hit the the generation that sort of has grown up with video games their whole life. So now they're kind of realizing they don't have the time to play these games as much. Now they have jobs and more disposable income, so maybe they do want to just spend a little bit more money on the game to unlock everything. But I don't trust the developers. Like you just keep hearing about how they're using like psychology and gambling stuff to prey upon people to keep them spending more when it's related to microtransactions in a full game, like a full $60 game.
Yeah, it's a bit frustrating because I mean microtransactions in themselves. I mean if you go to like base, not to jump off the topic of it and to get into it, but like to keep it to grossly simplify. There have been studies and shown that like in psychological tests and whatnot that show that generally people are more willing to pay, even though they spend the same amount of money, if not more, on small little things, and they'll end up nickel and diming themselves. But once you raise up the price, suddenly they don't want to see it because all they see is just a big number, not realizing that all those $5 transactions that they've made has actually costed twice than what they would have gotten from that one big buy.
Yeah, suddenly like 3 months in, you're like, holy shit, I've spent $200 on this.
Exactly, and it's like I didn't even mean to get close to spending $200, and even worse is when the games, unfortunately, when you see this with the very grindy games or akin to gacha games, which we're seeing a lot of popularity, obviously bleeding over into the West with more people picking them up because mobile has obviously been growing over the years and whatnot, and it's a humongous market over in China. I mean, we've talked about that before, but seeing that come over and seeing how games are almost designed with the idea to implement and do all those microtransactions, and you could still put $200 into a game and still not make like a dent into half of what all the content is available for you.
Like, have you
It's pretty
seen
insane.
like all the gacha games? Like you've seen like people who do like, I spent $1,000 to see what
Yes.
characters I'll get, and they don't get all of them, or even there's no guarantee to get the one you want.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
We're talking about different forms of crack tonight. It seems like we got our cardboard crack, now our virtual crack.
But that's what it is. And I mean, now that there's been huge backlash in the game community, which is leading to what we see now, which is almost time as the currency, as opposed to actual currency as currency.
Yeah, it just seems like they're like, maybe we'll keep people playing just so that like, I guess it just looks good for investors. Maybe I don't even know why you'd want like to force people to keep playing it, even though like I don't know. I guess maybe
I'm not sure
they're just tricking people. I guess maybe they think they're having a good time doing the same thing over and over. I don't know.
It might be like uncharted territory. They're just not sure. Because I mean, the game For Honor kind of suffered from the same thing. Somebody went out and did the math. If you like bought all the characters, got everything unlocked for them, it would cost you thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of makes people think it's like, oh, well, I can just play for a while, and it's like, I didn't have to spend $1,000.
Yeah,
it's like almost like I have this stuff worth $1,000.
It's that. I mean, I guess to somebody who wants that $1,000 stuff, it'll be $1,000, but to the generally everybody else, probably not.
Yeah. So. Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, some people might be thinking, like, hey, I just had to play, and I have all this stuff worth $1,000, even though it's not really, because some costumes, but I don't know.
I kind of wish there really was just a package option where, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the transaction to unlock stuff. I mean, the biggest issue being is just that don't unlock anything that's going to give you a distinct advantage over the people who can't do that, and anything that matters, I guess, and content that matters anyway. Like, it's not going to matter if you're like to give an example for the card games, I mean, there's different formats, and then there's just like the format that's like anything goes. And at that point, it's like, if you're playing in that format, you're kind of expected like anything just goes. And if somebody's got more buying power than you, they're going to probably have crazier things than you. Mm-hmm. But you're playing in that format for that reason. It's just to play with all the fun, crazy things that you can do with all the different versions that come out. Same thing for the games. That should be kind of applied to the concept here. But it would be really nice if maybe we could just get like a nice medium. Like if you pick up the game, and if you really want to unlock everything, drop another $30 or $40. It unlocks everything for you in the game, just right there. It gets it all for you. You have all the cosmetics. You have all the items that you want, any cool effects and stuff that you want there. Just let the person drop that. If they want to spend $100 to unlock everything in the game, then let them do that. And I think that would be a fine medium. I don't want to see where you have to like either spend an arseload amount of time or you have to drop a lot of money, which, I mean, that's kind of what the case is, at least for MK11 right now, is that you either spend a lot of time playing this game consistently.
$7 worth of crystals to buy one intro?
Yes, it is.
One
it's like
character intro is
$5 of crystals for a costume, $7 for like intros. It changes depending on what it is. I think it's like $3 for brutalities and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's
$7 for brutality as well.
Oh, so okay, so then there you go. See, it's worse than I said it was.
Yeah, all these like individual things will just.
Yeah, it's crazy how Mortal Kombat lends itself to that with the finishers and all that good stuff.
Does. You like the silliest part was, and this blew my mind. I was like, why would they lock this? You can utilize them. I mean, you don't need to know them. As soon as you know the code for them, then you can utilize the second fatality. But the actual second fatalities for characters are locked within the chest and whatnot. You have to play the game to unlock your second fatality.
Oh, God. It's so bad.
That sounds so horrible. I'm like, big part of this game is the fact that you can use fatalities.
Yeah, that's the cool thing back in the day. It's like why you wanted to play Mortal Kombat to figure out the fatalities and try to do them.
Yeah. And it's not to say that a game can't have you play to unlock stuff. It's just that the time to unlock these in this game is
exactly. If it was way more accelerated, then it wouldn't be such an issue.
Like if I had to spend, $30 or 30 hours to unlock everything while playing through like story and stuff.
Yeah, that gives you something to do that's achievable.
Right, like it's something you were going to do anyway, sort of thing, or want to do. Like,
yeah, but it's actually, just to give you a point right now, like going through the story mode will unlock just a little bit. But apparently, even playing online matches and stuff like that doesn't really unlock anything. It does not help
That's
you progress.
crazy.
You really need to go specifically to the towers.
Yeah.
The Tower of Time.
That's crazy.
You have to run through those to really, truly make any progress through it. You can meet some game criteria. There's like some little like missions you can do, like perform like 25 fatalities or whatever. That will show up and stuff like that, and that'll get players to at least do that during like the normal game stuff. But if you really want to make a dent in what is the crypt right now to unlock stuff, you need to do Towers of Time. And they do give you some tools. They'll give you like an AI that you can train and put points in towards to like how the AI plays and whatnot. But generally you end up just kind of leaving them alone for an hour. And there's even people who've already stated, like, if you can find a controller or a stick that allows you to like auto press continue for X, then just set that on, let the AI win, and then just let them go through the endless tower to see how far they can get before they're finally beaten. And that's
just go
like,
to sleep and leave your thing on.
Yes, that's quite literally what it is. They said just leave it on, and like you can come back to it every now and then just to check to see if it's gone through it again. You can leave it on for like an hour. An hour's time, I think somebody said they made almost about $5 worth of crystals for items. But that was after an hours of just the AI just playing through it again. So.
Yeah, it's
something.
I mean, I'm curious to see if other devs or publishers, whoever it is, like will start like just the ridiculous time requirements. Because like right now, again, it's mostly I've really seen it from Warner Brothers, and I guess I think what was it, Star Wars Battlefield 2
Star Wars
also kind of had that one originally, which I know they drastically changed their stuff after the backlash. So
EA did not help themselves on that one. But yeah, that's something. I mean, like I said, there's For Honor. A couple other studios have done it on more specific games than just a general idea. But it does, as you stated, Warner Bros. Does seem to be kind of pushing towards this just as a general design philosophy, which I don't think it's for the best. I think there should be, again, I stick with the ideas that I really think that, like, if you just want to unlock everything, either like reduce the amount of time that it's needed, and then if somebody really wants to drop the money, give them like a $30 package option. Just let them drop that. And
right.
If they really want to spend the money, just let them
not thousands.
Yeah, that seems really ridiculous. Most people are not going to stick around that long to play it. They just aren't. Except for pro players, but that's because they go to tournaments for cash prizes, not to sit around and unlock $6,000 worth of cosmetics. So, but they are coming out with, like I said, just to reemphasize on this, they are coming out with patches. They are listening to the players. They are going to be modifying things. They've stated that by the end of this week, as of this recording, they stated that they will likely have a patch come out that will modify and change the rates of how things are gained and earned, and hopefully it's for the better. But this general design philosophy of a lot of time to get it locked is probably not something I want to see for the future.
Yeah, judging by the backlash, I don't know. Yeah. People might still do it if it makes money.
I'm sure they'll do anything.
That's what it all comes down to.
Yeah, exactly. But
money talks.
Yep.
Is it just like 10% of the people whining really loudly? And are more majority of the people okay to just spend money on it?
People who are complaining on the internet are the
generally the loudest voices are the minority voices.
Yeah,
it's really rare when you get a majority, but when it does, it's beautiful. So hopefully it's not the way of the future, but we'll see.
Well, let's transition into something a lot more, something that makes me super happy.
You'll never see it coming.
Yeah, you'll never see microtransactions coming in this game series, though. I hope Atlas doesn't surprise me and ruin
Let's
my
hear
lunch
the next
money.
update. Atlas is finally bringing to you what you've always wanted: gotcha mechanics.
Catherine, the gotcha version. So this week there was a big Persona event in Japan, the Persona Super Live Concert 2019. They usually do like big concerts every so often where they get all the musicians together and they'll like all sing together and do these different songs from different games. It's actually really cool.
That's a trend I want to come to the West because Japan gets all sorts of video game concerts. But
they're all really cool. we get like the orchestra ones, which are cool too. But
you know what? To be fair, Distant Worlds from the Final Fantasy series does traveling across the world.
Yeah.
It's. I mean,
I'm
but
just
I
saying,
wish,
like,
as you
it's still
stated,
not
I
as
would.
big.
Yes, it's not as big, and I wish it was because there is some gorgeous music from these games that really
and,
deserve
like, the
recognition.
rest just is like meh
Nah.
on soundtracks for some reason.
Just for whatever reason, we're just like, whatever.
Even if they're beautiful.
Yeah.
yeah, so
This one.
Atlas used this concert as an opportunity to promote some of the games that they're about to do. They're Persona themed, and we got basically two kind of I don't know what you call it. It's not a remake. It's not a reboot. It's like a
soft
bootmake?
I heard soft remake. Is the term.
yeah. It's like a
I mean, it's similar to Golden. It's a
Remastered.
little more involved than Gold.
yeah. And we got a spin-off title. So this one's been teased for a while. I think back in the beginning of the year, they put up a website that said in March we're going to P5R, what is it? We're going to tell you about it. So
sounds oddly like our podcast name.
it is actually. It's the same. It's the same.
It's exactly the same variation.
But they have a colon P5:R. We're
right.
P5R. We have no punctuation in ours. So yeah,
Cool.
which stands for Persona 5 the Royal, which is the golden Persona 4
Which in the
version,
West
like
is
Mao.
Golden, so it might just be Royal when it's over in the West.
Yeah.
What exactly is like a soft reboot? Because I mean, obviously we know what a reboot is, but like, what the heck does
Yes.
soft
remake.
Golden
or
was
soft
almost like DLC content, but
Yeah.
added into like a new version of the game with severe
This one
quality of life
definitely
updates.
Makes it seem like the story is changing, sort of significantly.
Yeah, this is not. Yeah, this is not quite
Like,
that.
still
It is
might end
more.
at the same place. We can't tell. But
Yeah.
there's a lot more going on in the middle.
It is more a soft reboot. So,
I've seen a couple of people say that the middle was like a little bit, like kind of like, and I don't know because I never played the game, but like
Mhm.
I have seen a couple people say that the middle was a little bit boring, or they kind of got tired of it. Maybe.
it's the slower section because you're on summer break and there's it's cool if you like the social like life sim aspects because that's kind of when you do a lot of your like minor stat build, like your social stat building and like increasing your confidant ranks and stuff. You actually do a lot of that during the middle part of the game. But I don't know. It's I've heard that kind of too.
When I say middle, I just mean literally everything in between the start and end. Like
Okay.
yeah. Like
right.
we don't know enough yet to know exactly how it's changing.
I thought you meant like the actual like middle of the game. And I was
No.
like,
Okay. So yeah, well, it's coming out in Japan in October. They said everywhere else 2020, basically the West and the rest of Asia.
Yep.
So this, just like Golden, is adding a new character who will be joining your party. Her name is Kasumi Yoshizawa. She's a transfer student.
Like
Dante
you.
from the Devil May Cry series.
She looks like a dancer,
She's a
gymnast.
Haru's the dancer.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we'll get that. There's also a new confidant that they've shown off as like a counselor. Yeah, a school counselor. So just like Golden, they're adding more confidants. For those who aren't aware how Persona works, there's the RPG elements where you go into the dungeons, or in this case, palaces, and you advance the story. But there's also the life sim elements, which directly correlate to the RPG mechanics. So by getting to know people around town who they call confidants or social links in the other game, they're kind of like you build relationship points with them, and as you do, you unlock new abilities you can use in combat. You can fuse stronger persona, that kind of thing. So it basically makes you more powerful. So it's all about balancing your time, leveling up traditionally, like your combat stats, and your social stats to get you more powerful too. And also kind of like help you talk to more people and stuff. So they're adding more characters. So with more characters, you have to have more time to do everything because you can only visit and perform so many tasks. I think you get like 2 or 3 slots if you don't have school. And if you have school, you get to do one thing after school, I believe. I can't remember exactly how much time you get. It might be 2 things after school.
I'm playing through Persona 4 right now, so I don't know exactly if it's different. In Persona 4, you get 2 slots regardless of school.
Yeah, so you really have to... a lot of the game is managing your time correctly.
If you want to do everything.
Exactly. You might not care, and there might be like characters you're like, I don't really want to see their story. I don't care about this horribly inferior devil social link Arcana.
You might not care about reading every book, playing every game.
Yeah. So, there's lots of stuff you like don't have to do. You don't have to max out all your social stats. So they always add basically more time because there's more characters, so you need more time to do more stuff. Yeah. So
it looks like we'll get to actually play out the entire school year this time instead of 2/3. Mm-hmm.
Yep, which is all you get in the original game without really spoiling anything. So yeah, there might even be more confidants. All the Persona games have kind of like a there's like the JRPG. It's not really a trope in JRPGs, but like in Japanese media and stuff, there's always like the character who doesn't fight and is like the tactician person or like the analyst kind of thing. Persona, every game has one of those who they're basically there to be like, here's this monster's weakness, use this. Or
in 4 it's Risei, and 5 it's Futaba.
Yeah, so it looks like Futaba might be a playable character potentially too. Like you might actually be able to fight with her. Everyone loves Futaba.
She is awesome.
Yeah, she's Meta's favorite hacker girl in the opening. Yeah, so
there's team up attacks. They showed off team members actually, like from Persona 4 had team up attacks.
Mm-hmm. They're adding these in.
It definitely seems like they're reworking at least some of the confidants, because there's the twins in the first one, which they were literally, you take them a persona that they told you to, and that was how you leveled them up. And in this one, it looks like you can take them outside of what's called the Velvet Room, because it showed them with you at base. I think it's like at Disney or something, but that might be a new version of the confidant levels. But it might also just be that there's more events to do with random people, because I know some people at least thought that there wasn't enough like group hangouts in the game, like compared to like 4.
I can see that.
Like there's not, they wanted to see more of like multiple characters hanging out together instead of just you. So
yeah, 4 does have the more like the team dynamic kind of thing going on. I think it more tries to lean into that. But they're what I like is that they're doing stuff different with the gameplay, and even the palaces are kind of being redesigned with the grappling hook in mind, and new puzzles and stuff. So it's not just like a straight.
Remember that the grappling hook you get in Smash that you never really see in Persona 5?
Well, here it is now.
Yeah, it shows up in like one transition scene in the menus, and that's the only time you ever see it in the original Persona 5.
And we all know that grappling hooks make every game better.
Then why would they pull that? You know what? They probably just needed.
Well, they probably knew that they were coming out with this.
Ah, okay.
Because now they refactored the dungeons basically a bit, at least some of parts of them, to like utilize a grappling hook now. Like in the trailer, they showed off you knocking down a giant statue and then grappling hooking around.
That's cool. I also saw that you had areas of you walking around a town and whatnot. Is that
they added a new town. It's
a new area in
Kichijoji district.
The game takes place in Tokyo. Right?
Yep. So you actually go to actual location. Well, not actual, but like based off actual locations.
Yeah.
There's not actual like traveling around overworld maps on these games though, right?
No, it's like a quick travel.
In this one, you get to see, you pull up the subway map, and you can, or like the town map type stuff, and you can ride around to specific locations.
You go on the actual lines, so you'll go to like Shibuya or.
Okay, but you don't actually walk around in a city at any point. So
you walk around limited areas in the city.
Yeah, it's not like a giant open world-esque kind of thing.
You can't transition one. You can't just like walk down the street to the next area. You have to get on the subway. from your menu or whatever.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it was like kind of more of a very menu-based type thing where you were, well, there is definitely like, overland movement and whatnot, but I thought like when you were kind of like in the non-dungeony combat stuff, you were kind of just utilizing menu screens to go from point A to point B. So, I don't know.
No, you go there and then you can walk around.
Yeah, there's like actual stuff to do.
Talk to people.
Okay, I didn't know that.
In the old games,
expanding my knowledge.
Yeah, the old games like had nowhere near as much like wandering around stuff. You would go like to school and like maybe like 3 other places.
Yeah, this one has way more going on.
It's one of the things that makes it more interesting.
It sounds like the one that they added, the new location has multiple. It's not like they just added one new location with one thing to do. It has like shopping areas and like mini games and date spots. So
it's apparently a place where all the cool hip Japanese kids hang out after doing immense worth of research on Wikipedia.
The new area is not just like one thing. It's like it's they're adding a decent amount just from that one area. Seems like,
and it looks like there's going to be more group activity because they go to arcade and like play pool and stuff together,
and darts,
and visit the aquarium. Though the aquarium's probably more the date spot.
Yeah,
because Yusuke is going. You better not tell Anne and Makoto about this place. It's kind of like, okay, Yusuke, calm down. But yeah, so super excited for that. Then a lot of people thought that P5S, which had been talked about and rumored for a while, would be the much wanted and desired Switch port. Sadly, the Nintendo droids.
They didn't listen when Jason Schreier tweeted out, "It's not going to be for the Switch."
It's not a Switch port. Now, that's not to say a Switch port can eventually come, perhaps Royal or the base game, but it's not at least in the works right now, or at least as far as they're telling us.
Stand for Switch.
Yeah, no.
It stands for
Scramble. Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers, which I don't think anyone saw this coming, is a Muso game.
Yeah.
And we didn't get a whole lot.
Happy.
Yeah, Tetz is happy because he's been playing through Persona 5 and he loves Muso games. A lot
of people are not.
I'm fine with. I was saying this earlier. I'm fine with it.
Right.
We don't really know what.
You have a PlayStation 4 and have played Persona 5.
Yeah, and Royal is going to come out in a year. I don't need to play a Switch port like right this minute.
Right.
Said I can get a different game.
Who only have the Switch we're like, maybe Joker showing up in Smash means we'll get a port.
Yeah. And that's not to say it won't happen eventually, but
right.
He will be in a Nintendo game because this is a PS4 Nintendo exclusive, I believe. I don't think it's on Xbox.
It's Japanese console exclusive.
Yeah. So Muso game. The trailer showed off Joker fighting in what's the square? Kill me.
I don't know.
It's the big square in Japan. He was fighting a bunch of the like cop looking shadows, not shadows, but
Angel boss looked like it showed up.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's
some mysterious new character no one knows anything about.
Mm-hmm. So it's a spin-off game, Muso style. So it's the Dynasty Warriors style.
Yeah,
which could be cool because all the different characters have different weapons, so they can all play very differently.
I'd be curious to see if we're only getting party members, or maybe they'll pull in, other characters like Persona 4 characters or something.
Or 3 characters, yeah. Sure. How will the Persona system work? That could be really cool because it's very Pokemon-esque as a way people describe it to people who aren't really familiar with the games. It's not the exact same, but it is very elementally.
Especially the main line, Shin Megami Tensei is like adult Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard that way before. But it's a great way.
Yeah.
Well, there's like penis monsters and stuff.
And it's based on all mythology, so you get a lot of monsters and demons and stuff.
And a demon on the toilet pooping.
Yeah. Well, the one boss monster and that looks like a dick or whatever.
Yeah, on a chariot or something. It's insane.
Yeah. And that totally sidetracked me.
Like it will.
Yeah, I mean, Dynasty Warriors really how many spin-offs can we do?
it does apparently work. People love it.
I mean,
or at least the
people who,
fan
like,
base. The fan
it does
base,
have a dedicated fan base at Thieves,
Mhm.
but it's not a huge fan base, and like
No.
critically, they're not. Like I think they top out at like 80 out of 100. Like nothing really higher than that.
No, but I don't think. I think that's kind of they're okay with that. It seems
Yeah,
Right.
It's cool. What I like about the spin-off the kind of Muso games is that how they incorporate the mechanics and some of the stuff from the games they're
Yes.
spinning off on. It could be really cool with Persona if they figure out neat ways to do it.
I'm just curious. Like my understanding is the stories are never that great, which is why part of the reason why I love Persona 5. It's usually like I saw someone put it. It's like, oh, you're an enemy. No, I'm not. Let's fight. Oh, you won, so you're not the enemy.
The arena ones aren't that bad.
Repeat.
They're actually cool. I actually like the Persona 4 arena.
Oh, well, yeah. Supposedly, what's the company that does the
Arc Systems?
Yeah, Arc Systems was working on a Persona 5, but the success of DBZ Fighters like delayed that, so that still might come.
Oh, I'm sure it will eventually because it actually had a pretty decent following. People played it for a while and competitively, so I mean that'll come eventually. So we got some cool more Persona stuff. I'm not going to complain.
Is really the key part.
Yep. The graphics for Royal, you can tell they've like upscaled them a little bit for PS4.
Yeah, you can't play it on PS3 this
exactly.
time,
so you could tell kind of Persona 5 at times was a PS3 game.
It's got some PS4 performance stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or Pro, the PS4 Pro stuff.
So I'm super excited for next year. I'm glad it's next year. I'll get JRPGs are shaping up nice.
I'd prefer it in October, but
I wouldn't argue with it in October. But Mal, I'm going to have Trails of Cold Steel 3 by October.
Maybe I'll.
I can only have one waifu high school game at a time, please. Thank you.
I'm curious to see how much repeat purchasing they get from that, because it's a lot to ask for people to start a 100-hour plus game over.
Yeah, and for $60, but if the stuff's different enough, especially the palaces, like the social stuff, I don't mind it being fairly samey. I would like to see some new like conversations and stuff, maybe choices you can do. But the fact that because the golden stuff, it didn't change any of that really.
No,
it's basically the thing it did was let you control your party members, which is huge. Imagine playing a JRPG where you can't control all your party members.
You mean like Final Fantasy 13?
Yeah, or Persona 3 or 4, the original versions. So, especially in a game where you have to really
keep going if
don't
target their weakness.
Where they will just use elements that the enemies absorb and spam them on them and heal them because AI. And
the elemental attacks are very important, so not being able to control which ones you use is very
crippling.
Yeah,
that's what made 3 so hard. It wouldn't have been a hard game otherwise if you could actually control your party. But
like I know, like some people are kind of upset. Like it's a full $60 game for like what probably could have been DLC. But I mean, I'm probably gonna end up getting it again.
I'll pay it. They'll get my money.
But it is kind of scummy to a degree.
Yeah, like I won't. That's not the hill I'm gonna die on.
It kind of actually reminds me of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and then
it's that same kind of thing, right?
Yeah. It really was just like an updated version of the game with like a couple more characters.
But they could have been way more scummy about it though. They're at least like changing some of the stuff. So maybe if they decided to maybe do it for like $40, it'd be less offensive or something. Something like that.
I think that's the biggest problem is that it's technically the game has pretty much been completely already made. They're really just updating it a bit, and that's really all this is. So like playing it as a new game is kind of, as Mal stated, that's a bit scummy.
Yeah, like having to pay full new game price for what is not going to be a fully new game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of a little frustrating. I kind of wish they had taken the route that they did with World of Final Fantasy Maxima, which essentially like you could play. You get the game, but Maxima was like, if you already own the original game, then you could just get Maxima for like a small amount of money, and it would
that's
update
cool.
everything. Or you could just get the full game, and Maxima would just be attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wish that had been the way the route.
I think it also came out at like $40 too, just if you didn't have the game.
Yeah,
from the first point.
Yeah, WoF definitely did not come out as a full price game again. But you could definitely get. I mean, for the people who pre-ordered WoF, they actually I think got the game. They got Maxima update for free.
Nice.
For the people who bought it afterwards, they just had to pay a small fee to get it, and then anybody else afterwards could get to just get Maxima with the game. It was just a full-on add-on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I love the game though, so it's my favorite game of all time. I'm not going to complain, and they're going to get like another 100 hours out of me, so I won't completely feel gypped.
You're gonna.
It's not like it's a 10-hour game.
You're gonna play the first 100 hours in 72 hours, right?
It'll be longer because there'll be more game to it. So
right.
I think my first playthrough was like 85 hours.
Jesus.
Just to beat the game. Then like to plat it was like another 40 something. So.
Good God.
Yeah, I went all in. So I'm super excited. Lots of good JRPGs coming out. That Oni game looks cool. The Square Enix game.
Oh yeah, Oninaka.
Oninaka. Yeah.
Oh man, that looks awesome.
I have to look at that new updated trailer for it, but I'm hoping it does something different.
Maybe we'll get maybe Bandai will get off their ass and we'll get what's it called by the end of the year?
Code Vein.
Yes. It's not looking good right now.
I was gonna say.
It's like a year ago that was like, here's the anime music video trailer.
Yeah.
A year later, we haven't said anything. They were even doing like demos, like to certain YouTubers and stuff, which implied the game was on. Something weird's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
just wish I knew.
That's cause for concern.
Get Jason Schreier on the phone.
I know. We need blood. We need blood, sweat, and pixels too. I need to know the story of this game.
Oh God. Oh, that would have been a thing to talk about. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Anthem thing.
Yep. So yeah, that's what I got. I'm super excited. We'll learn more on May 9th. So probably about Scramble more so, I bet. But I think they said both, didn't they, Mel?
I mean,
yeah, I think it's supposed to be both, but probably get more from Scramble because we know so little.
We're also getting closer to the E of threes, so
yeah, which Sony won't be at
Tuesday,
and Nintendo is not revealing new hardware.
Yep.
Sony's not going to be at this one, correct?
Nope, they're not doing it, or they're not doing a presentation. Square's taking their place.
Like they'll probably be like a video or something, but
yeah, they're not doing a big shebang thing. E3's kind of going the way of the Dino. It seems like
it's kind of weird. I don't know about that because they said that like 10 years ago, and they said it's going to go away. E3's dying. They're selling it, and then suddenly E3 came.
Well, I don't think it'll like go away, but like the whole big like spectacle of like here's our giant trailer things.
No, don't do that. Don't do that to me.
Because PlayStation's doing directs now.
I love the 3 weeks.
Yeah, plus PlayStation has their own show.
They do. Yeah.
I kind of like directs better because you get more throughout the year. It's like Christmas every 2 months. And then you get a indie direct and it's like, I don't know, Thanksgiving. But I like Thanksgiving, so.
Well, what the most important thing is they clearly should definitely let us know a little bit more about Final Fantasy Remake before I ship myself over there and have a personal talk.
What? No, Final Fantasy 16. Forget 7. It's in the past.
No, we're not going to talk about 16. 7 is here. 7.
Yeah, which one will be out first?
Who knows?
Man, I wonder.
If it is what's his? I don't remember his name, but the guy who does the 14.
Yoshi P.
Yeah, if he's in charge of 16, it could probably be out. It might be out sooner than 7 remake.
Yeah. He's a lot more confident. He turned that game around in like a year or something.
Yeah, he turned
compared to Nomura, who doesn't probably. I don't think he really.
Nomura's done. He's like in a dark. He's in a dark place right now.
Nomura sounds like he's very much done with being a director in general.
Yeah.
Which I feel bad for the guy because I've been like one of the biggest detractors of him. I know it's not fully
Yeah.
his fault. Like I want to be absolutely fair here and unbiased. I know it's not always his fault. It just seems that any game he seems to be the director of just decides to take 10 years to do.
Yeah, and Square poops on him a little bit too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's self-inflicted, but I don't think Square's like really helping him.
It's really weird though because like they give him he's got huge name billing. They put his name on the front of covers and
Right, which I
shit
think
because
is
his artwork. It's so
Part
weird.
of the problem.
Probably.
Give
I
me
think, you know,
Verum Rex.
Making him trying to do too much and then forcing him to do it their way. It's just
Yes.
And then taking him off the projects because they're going to have to take him off 7 if that game's ever going to come out.
yeah.
I don't
And it
understand.
sounds like he doesn't want to be on it either.
It's really blowing my mind too because they have the original director on it and they've swapped roles with Naoki and the original. I can't remember even the original director's name. That's so depressing.
Yeah.
But like they've actually swapped roles, and I'm like, why? Why not just bring everybody back as they were? You literally have the 3 main dudes that worked with us before. Just do that again.
Yeah.
It was great.
13 verses was his baby, and they just
Yes. Oh yeah.
did not. Yeah.
Yeah, they ripped him
that's-
from
Yeah.
the teat, so to speak.
That's a very
Anywho.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Different-
We need to
different
talk
topic.
about that
We're way
one
off.
time.
We're off. I know.
Yeah.
A different topic for a different day.
We'll talk about the rise and fall of Nomura someday. That needs to be like a documentary.
I the rise and fall of Nomura.
Yeah, that poor man.
It was in the year 2017 that Nomura finally gave in to his depression.
All right, you want to take us home, Meta, and read the outro?
Hold a second. Let me just
Scroll up.
Scroll up.
Scroll up the Joker.
Wait, hold a second. That's what? No, where is he? There he is. Okay. Me. This has been episode 80 of Podcast of the Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast the Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. Catch updates about the podcast for other news. Give us a follow on your social media platform of choice listed in the description below, which I think entails a couple areas. I don't know.
I've been on mute. Twitter, podcast on our Facebook, BR podcast. Snap me away, Thanos. Take me away to that special place. Because if I stay too long, I'll probably break down and cry. And Meta and Lily stream, twitch.tv/PSOflow. Ted has a blog too. We should probably plug it. I don't remember the name of it. I'm a terrible friend. It is known.
I'm reading the outro and I'm like, I don't actually remember all of our...
geekyspirit.com.
Thank you, Mao. See, look, Mao's a nice... He tries to act hard and tough. He's so tsundere, though.
That's true.
Mao, that needs to be a topic. Which one of us is the most tsundere?
That's probably mine.
Tsundere.
Tsundere is, I don't know. I don't think any of us are...
bitches.
Please.
Whoa, Mao. Whoa.
Please. It's crazy. You can't say that.
All right, I'm gonna go watch.
Definitely the most tsundere.
Oh no!
Tsundere, probably.
Oh no! I'm gonna go watch Avengers. People, snap me away.
All right, later.
Back.
Don't get snapped.
It's not like I want to end the podcast or anything.
Babaka.
Baka.